guys, so as you can tell, we got the kayak loaded up. I apologize if the mic is kind of getting blown out by the AC. It's like roughly 197 degrees outside, and like I think it's around 204% humidity today. This Florida 1st of July for you. I don't know. We got some cloud cover today, but obviously we got the kayak loaded up. It's a hot first day of July, so you know what that means. We are going squirrel hunting. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. We are going to the woods before we go fishing though. I want to go to some public land and check out the spot. Well, I've already checked it out. I went into the spot during turkey season, and it was just loaded in rut sign. And I decided I want to go ahead and hang a camera there and just let it soak until bow season, pretty much. I've got some cameras. If you follow us on Instagram, you may have seen on the stories. I've got some cameras on my hunting club that I'm kind of doing a similar thing with. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm gonna get a little hike in. I'll tell you more about this spot. I'm pretty excited about it. I'll tell you more about it when we get there, but for right now I gotta get some gas, probably some snacks and some water, and then we're gonna go fishing eventually. So y'all stay tuned. Alright guys, so this spot, it's a pretty neat little walking area, walking only. And I found, when I was out here turkey hunting, I found this spot up here. There's a bunch of deer tracks in the road. I found this spot up here not too far it's pretty close to the road. I think it's a fairly overlooked area. Like I say, it's pretty close to the road. Let me make sure I lock my truck. Alright, she's locked. It's fairly close to the road, fairly close to this walking road, but it's also really close to somebody's house. And I feel like a lot of people are like, I'm not gonna hunt there because it's just too close to all this stuff. They're gonna walk past it. But basically what it is, the way it sets up is, there's a big creek bottom, beautiful creek bottom that comes through here. And then up near that house, it's kind of like an oak. There's oaks all along this fence row, big wide open field, and then there's kind of a point of oaks that come out and come pretty close to where that creek bottom is, and there's a little creek arm that comes out. It all kind of comes together in this one spot. Saw a ton of deer sign in there, and I figured, hey, I need to put a camera there. All right, guys, I hope you guys can kind of see this, but there's a bunch of trails right through here, and see how it's really thick, and then it kind of opens up right there. It gets kind of a little bit thick up there, and then if you look somewhere, I think it's right over there, if you look past this is where that oak kind of point comes out, and it's kind of like a funnel. These deer are either going to come through this gap, or they're going to come out of that oak point, come down in parallel either side of this big bottom. So I'm kind of looking around for sheds and stuff, just seeing where I think will be a good place to put a camera. But I think I'm going to go over that away a decent bit before I hang the camera up. Well guys, this might have to be pretty close to the spot. I don't know how well you can tell, but this little tree, I don't even know what kind it is, persimmon or something. I don't know if it's a persimmon tree, but it kind of looks like one. Either way, it's destroyed from last year and previous years. So there's like a little gap right here, and all it is it's just grass, and it's fairly open right here, and it's thick everywhere else. It's kind of like a big good funnel that goes straight towards that funnel right back behind me, and it comes straight out of, you can kind of see right over there where the oaks thicken up a little bit. Alright guys, so I really like this spot. So this is kind of where these oaks come off of that, they create like a point kind of dome thing coming off of that fence row. As you can see, like over here it's pines all the way to where it clears up, and then over there it's the same way. And this, it kind of juts out, and right here is the farthest point off of that fence row that those oaks are. And it's I'm in a clearing. As you can see, there's trails coming in from over there, trail coming through right here, just a bunch of trails. And there's also another gap through this creek bottom right here, or this little creek arm. There's another gap right here, there's a gap down there, and this, like, there's like a 30-yard wide area where there's these little clearings and a bunch of trails between the clearings, and some go that way, some of the trails go that way, some of the trails go parallel to the creek kind of, and some of them go in that other gap. This seems like a really good spot. I pointed my camera to the north so that when the sun comes up and down, it won't blow out the exposure on the camera as bad. I'm really liking this spot. I haven't found any sheds, but I found a ton of old rut sign, and I know in early season these deer are going to be using these oaks. I know for a fact. Well, I say I know. They should be using these oaks. There's a big field over there. There's a house like 150 yards. I don't know what the deer have to do with that, but there's a big field that they probably go to. There's a water source not too far away, and I don't know. There's a lot of stuff here that makes me think that deer would be here. All right, guys. Well, now that I am just totally dripping with sweat and got a decent hike in, it's time to go fishing. So this lake, I want to talk a little bit about the lake that we're going to. Never been there. Well, I've been there, I've never fished it. It's a fairly small lake, and it was drained, I want to say 3 years ago or 4 years ago. It was drained, and it was recently opened. And according to FWC, they have redone the management on the lake, and they put like a ton of bait fish, and they said they're going to continually stock bait fish, and they've set up new rules basically so that just to keep the bait fish and bass balance, to keep it balanced. And yeah, after only a couple years of it being refilled, somebody, I know I saw a picture of somebody had like a 4-pound bass, 5-pound bass, something like that. So apparently they're doing something right so far, but Florida's not great at managing smaller lakes, at least in this area. I guess they're too busy with the saltwater stuff and the and big lakes like Lake Okeechobee. Too busy with that mess to worry about the fishing opportunities around here. So that's kind of what we got to deal with. But I also forgot a paddle. I've got my trolling motor set up, but I forgot a paddle. So I really hope that trolling motor will last long enough to get me around the lake a few times. So the way a lot of other these lakes set up is basically the smaller bass are gonna be kind of schooled up a little bit in the shallower water. They're gonna be really close to shore. And I don't know where the bigger bass hang out, but I'm assuming it's not close to shore, because I can never catch a bigger bass close to shore in similar lakes. So I'm going to be trying to focus on, I've got a contour map, and that's about it. I'm going to be focusing on like the drop-offs and points and stuff, and hopefully I can find some offshore bass without having a fish finder. Alright guys, this water is super clean. I know this side drops off pretty good. I'm going to start off doing something pretty stupid, but hopefully it'll pay off. 7.5 inch Sly Guy replica shiner. Let's see what the action looks like in the water. It's a fast sink, so it, oh man. Okay, that's a bit of an issue. If you let it turn around on itself, there's a chance it'll hook itself, but who cares? That thing looks juicy in the water. Snatched out of one's mouth. absolute tank. I don't think this is where the big ones hang out. Get away from these guys. Alright guys, so there's a point up ahead and there's a point, kind of a point to the right. There's nothing else in these pockets that I think would hold a big bass other than these points, so I think I'm gonna hit them, and if I don't have any luck I'm probably gonna head out because it's supposed to storm later this afternoon. I figure this prefrontal type stuff, big bass will be more active, but who knows. I was told to fish the points, and there's only 2 on this lake that you can actually tell are points based on the contour map, so that's what I'm gonna do. Directions, picked up and turned cold. That means in the south at least it's about to rain, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and pack everything up. Learned a lot about this bait though. Alrighty folks, that's gonna do it for today. Right before I left, or just a few minutes ago actually, the wind switched directions pretty hard, and it got a little bit chillier, which usually means it's about to rain. I know a big thunderstorm's coming in, and as I was loading up my kayak, it started sprinkling just a little bit, so I figured probably picked a good time to leave. But as far as the fishing, as you saw, wasn't that great. This pond's literally technically only 3 years old because they drained it like 3 years ago or 4 years ago. So bass haven't had a lot of time to grow, but I know there's threadfin shad, I know there's a bunch of bluegills, a bunch of different bait species, so they're feeding them right. The bottom, I'm pretty sure the bottom looks different than it did when they made that contour map, because there's a few humps out there that weren't there before. But the only real action I saw was at that last spot I went to. I saw a bunch of fish blowing up on top over there, and I don't know if they were big. They wouldn't bite my big bait. Probably picked just a bad day to fish big baits and a bad lake, and I don't know, big bait's kind of dumb, but I really want to catch fish on them. Really want to learn how to start catching fish on them. But hope you enjoy the video. It was fun. It's always fun to get out in the water, get out in the woods, or do a little bit of both like I did. If you enjoy this video, go ahead and click the like button. Leave us a comment on whatever you want to see us do, suggestions, and I guess we'll see you guys next time. Always remember to live life 25 high. And I ended that sentence like I was about to say something.